I just wanted to follow up on my question about the polls, which did show at the time that, early on, that the people didn't think he should be impeached. Do you think that public opinion polls should matter in a decision such as whether or not a president should be impeached?
I think they should be taken into consideration, but they shouldn't be determinative. A public opinion poll is a measurement of the opinions which are as valid or invalid as the information upon which they're based. Most people don't have any opportunity to go into the nuances of controversies. They read a headline, a paragraph, they see a soundbite, and therefore their opinion is to move the world. It doesn't work that way, really. On the other hand, people running for election have to respond to the wishes and feelings and emotions of the electorate. So you can't ignore them, but if it depends what the issue is about. If it's life and death, if it's war and peace, you have to be prepared to lose your office over an important issue. I think that's the test. If you're ready to say, okay, I wanted to be a senator, I've been a senator, but I give it up on this issue, whether it's the war or stem cell or something controversial, but give me some principled people and the country will make it. But they're getting hard to find.
It has been said often these days that relations have coarsened here in Congress. And I want to ask you a few questions about whether that's true, and if so, why that might be. And my first one is, how have the media and how has the presence of the media in Congress affected relations? And you've been here all the way from the time when there was no camera in the chamber to today, when every word that is uttered by every member who wants to speak into a camera is on some 24-hour cable, if it's inflammatory enough. So how do you think the media have affected relations here?
Well, I think the media has become a participant. The media, instead of merely reporting what's going on, has become increasingly an advocate. This is sometimes subtle, sometimes not so subtle, but I think the media has a profound effect on this democracy we live in by helping shape people's opinions, which harden and direct elections. So the press is the most powerful instrument, more powerful than even the presidency, in shaping people's opinions upon which decisions at the polls are made. Polling is a very unscientific way to measure reality. It measures how people express their views on certain controversial issues. But how the question is asked, when the question is asked, the question before, the question after, all of these things can, in clever hands, can shape the answers you get from polls. And you can't ignore them. You just have to get your own out there.
Do you think that the media have contributed to a perception amongst elected officials that the more inflammatory your rhetoric is, for example, the better off you are as an elected official?
Yes, I think that's very sadly true. I think to get your name in the paper, to get attention, you have to be inflammatory. Routine disagreements don't get you very far. But if you can make an accusation of some kind, the press will leap at that. And I don't blame them, that's their business. but the press is powerful, and especially in a democracy.
So then let's talk about how this affects policymaking, not the media, but just the whole general rise in combativeness, if it is on the rise. Some say that there is a cycle of revenge that is underway as the balance between the parties remains so close, so that the goal of each party is to make sure that the other party doesn't have a victory. It's more important to make sure that the other party doesn't win something than it is to actually achieve something. That is what some of these experts say. Do you think that's correct?
To some extent. I've been blessed by having as my counterpart in international relations, where I'm the chairman, Tom Lantos, who is a very bright Democrat from California, who is more than bright, he's brilliant, he's knowledgeable, and he puts America first, ahead of his party and ahead of his politics. And I try to do the same thing. But we get along famously, and I'm proud of our friendship. That isn't to say he isn't a hardline Democrat, he is. But we do find in the matters of the UN and matters of arms exports and the Middle East and the rest, I can count on him to think straight, and he relies on me, and I wish the whole Congress worked as well. Now you can take another committee, say Ways and Means, where you would have Bill Thomas and Charlie Rangel, two strong personalities who I doubt if they can agree on Tuesday following Monday. But I've not had the fun or the pleasure of serving on their committee. But personalities have a lot to do with it.
But having said that, your relationship with Mr. Lantos is often described as an exception rather than the rule. And you hear the Democrats complain all the time that the rules are such that they aren't allowed to offer amendments, that they aren't allowed to participate in some negotiations over legislation, that they aren't invited to some conference committees. A, is that correct? And if it is correct, does that have an effect on policy?
Yes, it does have an effect on policy, and it is true. However, I can remember when on the Judiciary Committee, there would be a conference committee under the Democrats, and they wouldn't tell us where it was. So we couldn't find it to show up where we're supposed to show up. The Democrats are very partisan. The Republicans can be very partisan. There are isolated islands of nonpartisanship which glitter in the dark, but I think we could be a lot less partisan towards each other. But look, power is what it's all about. The election that put in Mr. Reagan disappointed an awful lot of Democrats. And as we go down, the Bush duo, the two of them, father and son, they've gotten to the point where they're livid about that. And they should relax, take a deep breath, their turn will come.
And what about the fact that it seems, and maybe this is a media issue as well, that more and more complicated issues are dealt with as though Congress has a gun to its head, as though some very complicated matter is rushed to the floor when there are finally the votes. And there's often a complaint by members that they don't have time to read the legislation. There isn't quite as much committee deliberation as there was in the past. Do you think that the policy-making process is working as it should?
I don't know. That problem of the members not getting to read the bills is true, but given the time, many of them wouldn't bother to read the bills anyway. You rely on your staff. You have a good staff, as I do, and as Mr. Lantos does. They do an awful lot of the tough work on legislation, especially complicated. That's those complaints. It's tough to get an idea through unless leadership wants it to get through. But they schedule the bills, they tell the Rules Committee what to do. I shouldn't say that, but that's the truth. It's an arm of the leadership, a proud arm of the leadership, but leadership calls the shots pretty much, and if you have a success, leadership can take credit for it.
And that's a change, because it used to be that the committees had the power to write the legislation, the committees that dealt with the issues, and now it's the leaders.
Every committee chairman is a lame duck, which is a result of the silly term limits, which has taken many a good person out of this arena. I think of Bill Armstrong of Colorado. What a shame that he left. He'd be a good candidate for president. There are many wonderful members of Congress. Here's Bill Young, chairman of Appropriations, a wonderful chairman, knowledgeable, fair, well-liked, but 3 terms, he's up, he's out. It's not a good idea.